Workers' compensation pre-authorization and what's needed to file a workers' compensation claim, presented by Tatiana Dukes. Well, what are they? Workers' compensation is a form of insurance providing wage replacement and medical benefits to employees injured in the course of employment in exchange for mandatory replenishment of the employee's right to sue their employer for the tort of negligence. Pre-authorization is a decision by your health insurer or plan that a healthcare service, treatment plan, prescription drug, or durable medical equipment is medically necessary. So what should we remember? Eligibility is a for-profit company, corporation, or state's employees with work-related injuries are eligible for workers' compensation benefits. This includes coal miners, longshoremen, harbor workers, and all federal employees except those in the uniformed services with a work-related injury are eligible for federal compensation plans. Some workers' compensation plans, insurance plans issue identification cards, which are provided to employees who are eligible to receive workers' compensation coverage. Let's talk fiscal agents. Fiscal agents, an organization such as bank or trust companies that act on behalf of another party performing various financial duties. State plans include state insurance or compensation funds, a third-party payer, or the employer's special company capital fund set aside for compensation cases. Federal plans have information that can be obtained from the human resources officer at the agency where the patient is employed. More things to consider. An underwriter is the federal or state government, depending on the case. There are some forms that you'll need, which include the first report of injury form, narrative progress supplemental reports, and the CMS 1500 claim. Filing deadlines for the first injury report is determined by state law, which means it will vary from state to state. The deadline for filing the claim for the services performed will vary from payer to payer. But wait, there are no deductibles and co-payments for worker compensation claims, and the premiums that are set, the employer will pay for all of them. There are things called the approved fee basis. It is the state compensation board or commission that establishes a schedule of approved fees. Many states use a relative value study, RVS, units value scale. Others have implemented managed care. There's more. First of all providers must accept the compensation payment as a payment in full. Therefore, you can't do anything in payments like $50 here, $50 there, random $100. No, everything needs to be done in full. Special handling, you have 3 different points that need to be addressed. Contact the employer immediately when an injured worker presents for the first visit without a written or personal referral from the employer. Contact the workers' compensation board of the state where the work-related injury occurred if treatment is sought in another state. No patient signature is needed on the first report of injury form, progress report, or billing forms. If an established patient seeks treatment of a work-related injury, a separate compensation chart or ledger account must be established for the patient. The first report of injury form requires a statement from the patient describing the circumstances and events surrounding the injury. Progress reports should be filed when there is any significant change in the patient's condition and when the patient is discharged. Prior authorization may be necessary for non-emergency treatment. This is a need to be reminded if for some reason private payer was mistakenly billed. When a patient fails to inform a provider that an illness or injury is work-related, the patient's primary payer is billed for services or procedures rendered. If the patient subsequently requests that the workers' compensation payer be billed instead, the claim will probably be denied. The patient must then initiate the appeals process and the provider will be responsible for submitting the appropriate documentation to support the workers' compensation claim. Any reimbursement paid by the primary payer must be returned.